What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So you know how you have some good days and you have some bad days? This is one of those good days. Today I am out here at BMW of Greater Cincinnati picking up my brand new S1000RR package. This is a 2021 fully loaded. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you really need to, because I give a lot of inside information as to what's happening next on the channel and what moves I'm trying to make in the garage. And this is one of those moves. I posted up a picture, I think it was last night or the night before, of this and a 2021 R1M. Asked everybody to vote, see what I should buy, and I ended up going with the S1000RR. This thing is absolutely stunning in person. I've seen them, but I've never been up close and personal with them. I mean, the attention to detail on this bike is insane. If you can see it, carbon fiber wheels, straight from the factory, carbon fiber wheels. I mean, the paint scheme on this is sick. So the blue in these has a lot of glitter, and the red solid, very, very nice. The dash is unreal. So I'm gonna be doing a first ride on this thing. It's literally brand new. I'm going to be breaking it in on the way home. So I'm going to go easy, but I'm just going to give you guys my initial thoughts on the bike and let you know what I think about it. First time throwing a leg over it. So I had a 2015 BMW S1000RR with a race package on it, and I love that bike. Hands down, best all-around 1000cc bike you can get. And I'm really excited to see what BMW has done with this new one. So without further ado, let's get on the bike and see what it feels like. The dash startup screen. I mean, this dash is unreal. I've never seen anything like this. It's so good. I'm going to leave it in road mode. I'm not going to mess with any of the settings yet. I'm just going to get used to the bike. So first thing I can tell you is it is definitely more of a race position than the old S1000s. You're lean forward over the bars a little bit more. It's not bad. I mean, it's not near as bad as like an R1 or anything, but you're definitely, your butt's higher in the air and you are lean forward a little bit more than the old S1000RRs. And the seat is definitely harder than my old one. The other thing I noticed immediately getting on the bike, it's definitely a lot thinner between the legs than the old one was. The old one was kind of a little bit heavier of a bike to do transitions with. This one I think is going to probably be pretty light on its feet. I do have to say, looking at this bike just up close and personal, the quality, the craftsmanship, just the finish of the bike is top notch, very top notch. I mean, everything is super nice about it. It's put together really nice. It feels like a solid build, and like when you're spending $25,000 on a motorcycle, you want it to feel like that. Quick shifter's super smooth. Let's see what the auto blip is like. Very nice, very nice. Fueling is very nice and smooth on the throttle. So I'm sure most of you guys know that the US spec of this bike has an issue trying to meet emission regulations, to where basically to meet them, they had to pull a whole bunch of power out of the mid-range of the bike. So I am going to be flashing this bike almost immediately. I haven't decided what full exhaust I want to put on it yet, but it's going to get a full exhaust. It's going to get flashed and a filter. I'm probably going to end up doing some track days on this bike. We were going through all the dash components and all the settings at the dealership. You need a freaking game controller basically to get into the settings. Like, there's so much stuff that this bike can do. I'm convinced that this has more settings than my truck does. It's unreal. You can do different tacks. You get a fuel gauge. First of all, thank you BMW, you get a fuel gauge on this bike. I don't know why manufacturers think it's okay just to not put a fuel gauge on bikes because they're sport bikes. Like, I personally like knowing how much gas I have. And I know most of you are like, oh, you can just reset the trip. No, I want a fuel gauge. So thank you BMW for that. But there's a bunch of settings you can go through. You can change your rider modes. You can set your own rider modes. So I can set it to where it's less intrusive on the electronic side of it and have wheelie control not as bad, and traction control not as bad, you know, ABS. I don't know if you can turn ABS off, but the one thing that kills me on sport bikes is most manufacturers don't give you cruise control. BMW is one of the few that actually does. which in my opinion really makes a sport bike so much better of a road bike, because then you can take a lot of pressure off the wrist when you're cruising. You can take pressure off, and you know, I mean, if you're doing highway miles, cruise control definitely helps the back and wrists for sure. It definitely flicks back and forth very, very easily. Super nimble bike. Like, it almost feels like a 600 that has a leader bike engine in it. Open her up a little bit. You get some sound out of the stock exhaust. It's not bad. Definitely going to get an exhaust on it though. The mirrors are very good position. I can see behind me perfectly. I'm going to pretty much deck this thing out with carbon fiber, guys. M1000 wings are going on it. All the carbon fiber. I'm going to give this thing so much carbon fiber though. It's going to look so sick. Oh, and other good news for you guys that follow the channel. My exhaust and other parts are going to be here this week for the H2 carbon. So we're going to have that back out on the road. I'm super stoked to ride that bike. I've only ridden it once because of how much all the parts have been on back order. Just all the stuff with shipping I had to deal with. So I'm going to get out, put some miles on that bike, be making some videos with that bike. I think it's mainly first, second, and third that they neutered the crap out of the mid-range on this bike. I do want to give a shout out to BMW of Greater Cincinnati. They made this so painless to get this bike. I literally called them, was on the phone with them for 5 minutes, giving them my information, showed up, they're like, sign these papers, here's your bike. It was so easy. Like, it wasn't one of those, I'm at the dealer for an hour trying to figure stuff out. So painless, so easy. Would not hesitate to buy another bike from them, and the price was actually really good. So I got this bike for $22,500. I mean, obviously tax on top of that, but $22,500 for a fully loaded M package, not bad at all. Guys, the garage is getting a little out of hand though. Frickin' two H2s, S1000RR, Turbo Busa, FZ10. I forgot to tell you guys, I bought a Grom. So, I mean, I'm gonna have to build another garage here soon. I'm just going nuts on these bikes. It's for you guys though, it's all for you guys. That's what I keep telling myself. I don't know if you guys are picking that up on the camera, but it's getting a lot of pops on the downshift, so it actually sounds pretty decent with the stock exhaust. I still can't get over how good this screen is. Like, it's super sunny out right now, and there's no glare at all on the screen. So easy to see everything. Like, that's one of the things that I really hated with my H2, was my first H2, not the new one, is it's really hard to see the tack on that bike when it's super sunny out. This bike, no problem. I'm over here trying to turn my turn signals off, scrolling through the options. This thing's gonna be so good in the twisties. It's so light. Like, carbon fiber wheels probably help a lot too, but it's definitely a light leader bike. Just feels light on its feet. Transitions are probably gonna be pretty easy on this bike. Rear brake, yeah, it doesn't have much rear brake. Front brakes though, they got a lot of bite. I mean, just around town, obviously I haven't done any hard braking yet, but lever feel is very nice. One thing that I am probably going to need to upgrade, I do like the higher windshields, like the double bubble and the Puig and stuff like that. I got one for my H2 carbon. My other H2 has one, so I'm probably going to do one on this because the windscreen is kind of low, so not much wind protection unless you are full blast tucked all the way down on the tank. Riding position definitely is sportier than the old ones, but it's pretty relaxed. It's not like a Ducati or an R1 as far as how aggressive it is, but it's definitely more aggressive than the old S1000s were. Now, I will say the stock levers on this thing are super high quality. I don't know if that's anodized aluminum or if it's some sort of composite, but they feel quality. I don't think I need to put levers on this bike. Those are super nice. The turn signal is kind of a reach over there because of that dial wheel. Something to get used to. But I mean, that's one of the things when you have like 5 motorcycles is you don't get used to any of them. Every time you ride one of them, you're like, I forget how to do everything. It definitely like opens up once you give it so much gas. Like the flap in the exhaust opens up, and it does give you a good amount of noise. I bet this thing's gonna sound really good with a full titanium system. So he was showing me at the dealership, but you can actually download an app that connects your phone to the dash on this and gives you turn-by-turn navigation on the bike, which is unreal. So you'll have picture turn-by-turn navigation on the screen of this. It's insane how nice the dash is on this and how much just random goodness you get electronics wise. You know what I mean? You just buy like you buy a $28,000 H2 and they're like, it goes fast, here's your dash, here's your throttle, here's your brakes, good luck. The dealer did have two BMW S1000Rs in stock as well, the new ones, and I gotta say, that bike looks killer in person. Like, as much as I love the FC10, I almost think I should have bought one of those. Like, that bike looks sick. Now, I haven't ridden it, so I don't know. It's definitely not going to have the same character as the FC10. The FC10 just has, you know, one of those engines that makes it such a fun hoon bike. But I've got to say, BMW really stepped up on the new S1000R. Because the old S1000R was, it's kind of bland. It's kind of bland, I'm not going to lie. The other naked bikes were pretty far ahead of the old S1000R. I have gotten a brake light fault a couple times now on the way home. I'll have to check back there and see if something's not plugged in all the way or what. It's a good thing they give a warranty with these bikes, you know. But the warranty is actually really good on these. I'm pretty sure it's 3 years on this bike, which I always thought 1 year warranties on a $20,000 plus bike was kind of ridiculous. Like, you buy a $20,000 car, you get a 5-year warranty with it. I mean, I understand it's a freaking race bike essentially, but you know, give me some warranty here. I'm spending some money with you. So good job BMW on 3-year warranty on this bike. I hope that's right. All right, let's open her up a little bit. It has a huge dead spot in the middle. I can see what everybody's talking about. It is super neutered in the middle of the RPM range. Once it gets up near the top, you get that 1000cc rush that you're used to, but second gear there, man, it was super neutered in the middle RPM range. Yeah, that's wild how much they restrict these bikes from the factory. ECU flash is definitely going to be one of the first things I do on this bike. Yeah, so fourth gear definitely has a lot more punch in the mid-range versus second gear, which is wild. That fourth gear feels faster than second gear in the mid-range. So there is that, guys. If you do not plan on flashing this bike, it's probably not the bike for you. Like, if you want to keep it stock, you're probably going to be pretty disappointed with the mid-range until you flash it. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at buying one of these bikes and you're in the US. If you're not in the US, it doesn't matter because they only did it for US regulation. Freaking EPA out here ruining everybody's day. Go get a job, EPA. God. Yeah, so I just wanted to get out and show you guys the new bike, do a quick first ride on it. I know I didn't really hammer on it, but I wanted to get a couple break-in miles on it. It's such an expensive bike, I don't want to risk it and hammer on it immediately. I'm not going to put many miles on it before I start hammering on it, but at least the first ride, I'm going to go easy on it. Let me know what you guys think of this bike. Let me know what mods you think I should do to this bike. I'm going to do some smackdowns with this versus the Ninja H2 Carbon. I think that the H2 Carbon is probably going to spank this thing, but it's going to put up a good fight for sure. So now that I have a regular leader bike, I can go and get a lot more races because it's a lot harder to get races when you bringing out a 300 wheel horsepower H2. Nobody wants to race you. So this will definitely help get me more into the slower bike racing, you know what I mean? So it does have an RPM limiter at like 8,500 RPMs. They won't let you go above that until you get broken in, I guess. That's crazy. But yeah, this will help me get races with other regular leader bikes. I'm gonna make this thing pretty epic, so stay tuned for those videos. I'm gonna be dropping a video probably late this week on the install of the full polished Van Diemen exhaust Sprint air filter, other little goodies on the Ninja H2 Carbon, so keep an eye out for that. As always, leave a comment down below. Until next time, guys.